Hello, second grade. Oh my goodness. That work yesterday, using those base 10 models to subtract 3-digit numbers. Beautiful, beautiful work. I love seeing that regrouping coming from you all. I love seeing you crossing off and making sure that you're trading a 10 for 10 ones, or trading a 10 tens for 100, making sure that all those little bits and pieces are just right. And that really helps you get to the correct answer quickly and accurately, right? We want to make sure we're getting the correct answer. And love seeing friends really proving or justifying how you got that. So seeing those models was really, really helpful. As we dive into some new learning today, we are still going to be representing and subtracting these 3-digit numbers, but we're going to be doing it with a different tool. Today, we're going to use a open number line. Let's take a peek at our learning target. I can subtract 3-digit numbers using an open number line. Now I gotta ask you, how do we know what to do on a number line? How do we know where to start, or what do we do first? We gotta look at our equation, right? And figure out what we need to do. So I'm gonna show us a problem from yesterday. One of our problems was 317, and it was take away 75. Remember that one? Oh yeah. Now this, I know, is just a 2-digit number coming from this, but it'll help us practice. So on an open number line, where do I start? Right. So I'm going to start with that first number in my equation. And where am I going to put it? Why am I putting it down here? Because I'm subtracting. And we know that when I go this way on a number line, my numbers are getting smaller. So if I'm subtracting, I want to start over here and go there. But now, what do I know? What do I need to do first? I can take my jumps of 10. Remember the secret with that open number line. An open number line allows us to make bigger jumps so that it doesn't take as long, and honestly, it makes it a little bit more accurate, right? When we can make those big jumps of things we know in our head, we're not making those little small jumps, which is where usually the problems come in, our miscounting comes in. So when we're doing this, we can make a jump. Well, I can take away 7 tens, right? Ooh, what should I do there instead? Anybody else see that? Somebody told me to take one jump of 10. Why would I take one jump of 10 from 317? Right? It gets you to another, it takes you right to that 300. That makes it just a little bit easier to solve. So how much more do I need to take away? I need to take 60 away, right? I already took 10, so I'm breaking up that 70 into 60 and 10. And that 10 taking away is going to get me to that 300. And when I do that, what do I know? 10 take away 6 is 4. Aha. So 307 is going to take away 60 is going to be 247, right? So there's that 10 with that 0. There's that 6 with that 60. And then there's that 4 that's left over. 10 take away 6 equals 4. 100 take away 60 equals 40. Ding. There it is. But then what do I have to do? Then I've got to take away my 1s, right? So I took away my 60. I took away my 10. But I've got to take away my 1s next. Then I can just take away 5 1s because 5 take away 7 is 2. Which makes me land on 242. And if we went back to our work from yesterday, 242 is what we got yesterday with our base 10 blocks. So we're using that open number line. We're looking for how we can make those bigger jumps to make them easier to subtract. And in this case, we're thinking about big jumps of 10, big jumps of 1, and today, maybe some big jumps of 100. Because guess what? 3-digit number subtraction today. I'm so excited, are you? Oh, I can hardly stand it. I love this stuff. All right, so you guys are using this open number line today. It's going to be tricky, but I know you can do it. Because you're rock stars. You've been doing it with 2-digit numbers. You've done it with 3-digit, take away 2-digit. So I have no doubt you're going to be amazing trying it out with these 2 3-digit numbers. 385, take away 143. Show me how you might use an open number line to solve 385, take away 143. Where are you going to start on that number line? Where is your 385? How will you take away 143? What will your jumps be? Why are you taking away your hundreds first? Then what are you taking away? You took away your ones and then your tens and hundreds. Why? Let's do with your base 10 blocks. Whoa, what are you starting with? Why are you starting with 143? Are you subtracting? Adding. What are you adding? Are you going to add 3? What are you adding to 143? What are you trying to get to? Oh, so where's your unknown? In the jumps, not in where you land. Would you be willing to share that work? Why did you decompose your jumps into hundreds, tens, and ones? Friends, as we're coming together, remember you can always pause me before we restart. Let's go ahead and show one of these ways. We'll show a couple different ones today. All right, number line. Oh, I love lining my number line up on one of my lines on my chart paper. And you guys do that same thing in your notebooks. Where are you starting? 385. Okay? And you're starting down here because you're subtracting, so we're going to smaller numbers. All right, so what are you going to do first? Why are you making a big jump of 100? Okay? So when you're taking away 143, you can chunk it up into tens and ones. This time you're going to take 100 and then your tens and ones. So what place is going to change? Your 100. So what's your jump? Where are you going to land? 285. So 300, take away 100 equals 200. Then what? Right? So when you take away 40, what do you get? What place changed this time? Your tens, take away your tens, equal your tens. Oh. And then what are you going to do? Take away your 3. 1, 2, 3. Or 3. And where do you land then? 242. So where's your 385 in your work? Where you're starting. Where's your 143? 140 and 3. And then where's your unknown? 242. How many of you solved it that same way? Why are we decomposing or breaking up that 143 into hundreds, tens, and ones? Yeah, so we only have to change one place. If we make a jump of 100, only our hundreds place changes. When we take away our tens, only our tens place is changing. When we're taking away our ones place is changing. So we're not having to think of all these digits changing at the same time. Just one of them changes at a time. Absolutely. But that's not what somebody else did, right? So you use this equation to help you. But somebody else did it a little differently. Let's take a peek at what they did. You drew a number line as well. Okay, and where did you start? And why did you start at 143? It's easier to add, okay? So where did you go next? What did you do? You made 2 jumps of 100. Why 2 jumps of 100? Oh, you're trying to get to 385. So 1 jump of 100 only got you to 243. And then you did 343. Okay, what did you do next? Why did you add 40? Because 4 and 4 is 8. Okay, and so you're trying to get to 80. All right, that makes sense. 383. And then you needed to go just 2 more to get to 385. So where's your 143 in your work? Where you're starting. Where's your 385? Where you landed. Okay, so where is your unknown? In your jumps. And how many jumps did you make? 100, 200, 240, 242. So what equation would match the work that you did? 240 or 143 plus 242 equals 385. Whoa. Does that make sense to everybody? Makes me think of that work we did a couple days ago, right? Where we actually had a subtraction problem. I think it was about the kids at lunch, right? And some brought a lunch and some didn't. And we subtracted to solve it one way, but then we also added, and the unknown was actually in the change, right? It was in that one of the add-ins that was in the equation. How are these two ways similar? Well, yeah, they both got 242 as the answer. How else are they similar? They both use the 143, and they both use 385. They're different. Started with this, took away what we knew to find out what we didn't. This one started with the smaller number and jumped to the bigger number. And the unknown was actually in the jumps, not in where you started or where you landed. So when we're subtracting with those 3-digit numbers, we could actually add 2 as long as we are making that unknown as part of one of the add-ins rather than the result, right? Let's see if we can use the same information to help us solve this next problem. 495, take away 227. 495, take away 277. Actually, before we do that, I want us to think about how this works in this wonderful model that we used to do with our smaller numbers. What is our whole? If we have our part whole, or this number bond, what is our whole in this equation? Right, our whole is our 385. What's one of the parts that we already knew? 143. And the part that we didn't know? 242. And this is what we were trying to find out, right? That was the unknown. Woohoo! Surprise, surprise. So remember, we can add these two to get to this one. Or we can subtract to find out that one. So when we're using that number bond, we can think that part whole. We can add or we can subtract to find the unknown as long as we're putting it in the right spot. Now let's think about how we can solve 495 take away 277. And I'm going to go ahead and draw this number bond for you to think about that as we solve this problem. What are you going to start with on your number line? And so are you going to be adding or subtracting from 495? Why subtracting? In our equation, it says 495 minus. Okay, and what are you going to take away? And when you take away 277, how are you going to do that? How are you going to decompose those numbers into hundreds, tens, and ones? Okay. I noticed that you did something. You broke up those ones into 2 smaller jumps. Why did you do that? And why is it helpful for you to get to that 10? 10 is a friend, isn't it? Where did you start on yours? So if you're starting at 277, are you going to be adding or subtracting? So where is that 277 on your number line if you're adding to that? What are you adding? Are you adding 495 or are you adding to get to 495? Why? So you're using what you know about that one to help you do this one. Okay, All right, friends, as you're working on your own, if you need to stop, please feel free. Otherwise, and you can pause me. Otherwise, keep listening. We're going to share these two different ways to use, and there are more, right? We could break our numbers up a little differently if you chose. But we're going to show one way of subtracting on this number line and one way of adding on this number line to help us find the unknown. So what are we going to do first? Either way, we're going to draw a beautiful, nice straight line. What did you start with? And when you drew your 495, where did you put it on the number line? Okay, so you drew it, you put it right over here because you're getting to smaller numbers. All right? What are you doing first? Ooh, big jump of 200. And what place is going to change? 400s, take away 200s equals 200. And you say your 95 is going to stay the same because you're just taking away your hundreds. There's nothing in your tens and ones to change. Then what? 70. Okay, and when you take away 70, what place is going to change? All right, so you're saying 9 tens, take away 7 tens is 2 tens, so you have your 200s, your 2 tens, and you still have your 5 ones. All right, and then what are you going to do? Why did you take away 5? You're supposed to take away 7. Why are you taking away 5? Because that gets you 220, which is a 10. And then you're taking away 2 more. And why just 2 more? Because that's your 7 that you're taking away. Okay, and so when you're at 220 and you take away 2, what do you land on? And how do you know it's 218? 2 less than 20 is 18. So 200 less than 200, or 2 less than 220 is going to be 218. All right, so let's go back to our equation. Where's your 495? Where's your 277 that you're taking away? 277, okay. And where is your unknown? Seeing some wiggle waggles on there. So if we're going to put these into our, if we're going to put that into our number bond, what would go where? Okay, so we have our whole 495. You're taking away a part to find that unknown part. Ah, there's that unknown. So how can we do that? How can we find that unknown if we're adding? Because I saw some friends getting wild and woolly and doing that. How would that look if we were adding? Where are we going to start? 277. And why did you put 277 down here in your number line? Because you're going the opposite way, right? When you're going that way on that number line, you're getting to bigger numbers. Absolutely. So what are you going to do first? Okay, why are you making a big jump of 200? Because you're trying to get to 495. 200 more is only going to get you to 477, okay? And then what are you going to do? Okay, a jump of 10, and that gets you to what? 487, okay? Why didn't you make a jump of 20? Would have been a little too much. Very close, but not too much, right? So then what did you do? Why did you add 3? Because 7 and 3 gets you to that 10. 10 is a friend, right? And then what? Trying to get to 495, so you had to jump 5 more to get to 495. So you're starting with that number. You're jumping to that number. So where's your unknown in this work? Okay, and how much is that? 200, 210, 213, and 5 more is 218. Whew, friends. Still found that same unknown, didn't we? And how are they different? Okay, one of them you're adding, one of them you're subtracting. Starting with your unknown and going to smaller numbers. Starting with your known, taking away your known to find your unknown. This one, you're starting with a known, adding an unknown to get to your known. That 218 is what we're missing. So friends, this is our third launch, but I want you to be able to do it on your own. We're going to change that to your exit ticket. I want you on your own to show me using an open number line how to solve 173, take away 119. Remember to use that open number line to show your thinking and label your jumps, label where you're starting, and make sure that you show me where your unknown is. So like in this case, our unknown was in our jumps. In this case, our unknown was in our jumps. But our unknown when we were subtracting was where we landed. So you want to make sure you label all those pieces. I cannot wait to see what you do with your exit ticket and what you do with your independent practice. Happy solving!